Chapter 1, Meet Soon. Summary: on Naruto's 12th birthday the Kyuubi is released. Naruto befriend the demon and because of a promise decides to train Naruto. Naruto will step forth on a path to be the greatest ninja the world has ever seen. Pairings: this story will eventually lead to a main pairing and a few others, I won't tell yet however. I will tell you it isn't Naruto/female Kyuubi. Side note, I don't like Sasuke or Sakura period. Sakura may have gotten better in Shippuden, but I can't look away from how I perceived her in the beginning. With all that out of the way, I do not own Naruto or any characters from the series. Now without further ado I present Chapter 1. Naruto lay in bed because he was exhausted, but he couldn't sleep for some reason. He figured it may be that he was afraid of tomorrow. Tomorrow would be his birthday and it was a day he hated. Every year they had a festival and every year he was not allowed to step out of his apartment at all. He hated hearing everyone having a good time while he was stuck inside for a reason he didn't know. He looked over at the clock in his room and it said 11:59. One more minute and he would be 12 years old and nobody cared. All the kids he knew had a celebration for their birthday, but he got shunned and was not allowed to leave his apartment. Naruto closed his eyes hoping that would help him ease his mind. As he closed his eyes he found himself in a sewer. Naruto blinked a few times, but found that he couldn't get out of the sewer. He started walking around and felt something as he continued walking. When he got to the end of the sewer he saw a huge cage with a seal on it. Naruto looked inside the dark cage, but couldn't see anything. As he got closer a figure started to appear and when he made it to the cage he noticed a woman inside the cage. She had light red hair and wore an outfit similar to a Shinto priestess. She looked like a goddess to Naruto. He looked into her eyes and saw that they were red and had slits instead of round pupils. Despite the menacing look of the eyes he thought they were attractive. Also instead of regular ears she had red furry ears sticking out of her head. "Ah Naruto, happy birthday," the woman said as she walked to the cage. When she got close to the cage Naruto saw 9 light red tails swishing behind her elegantly. Naruto was simply astounded by the woman. This is quite the dreary mindscape. Her voice made Naruto feel warm inside, it was as elegant as she was with a motherly tone mixed in. "Who are you?" Naruto asked curiously. The woman looked at Naruto curiously and gave him a warm smile. "Well, I can't tell you my real name, however according to the people of your village I am known as the Kyuubi," the woman said. Naruto's mouth went agape and his eyes widened. "If you like you can call me Tsun." Naruto had not yet recovered from hearing that this woman was the demon fox that nearly destroyed the village 12 years ago. Tsun noticed this however and let Naruto's mind wander about what she told him. "But how is that possible? I heard you were destroyed 12 years ago," Naruto said to the fox lady. Tsun looked at Naruto curiously then looked around curiously. "Well, I wasn't destroyed. I was actually sealed into you," Tsun said earning a horrid expression from Naruto. "Your father, instead of destroying me, sacrificed himself to seal me into you," Tsun clarified for Naruto. "What? My father?" Naruto asked incredulously. "Yes, your father. He was your village's leader when he was alive," Tsun said with a tone that she knew everything. Naruto was again shocked. "When he found out that I was being controlled decided to spare my life and asked me to promise that I'd teach you how to be a strong ninja in his stead." Naruto couldn't believe what he was hearing. "One of the Uchiha of your village named Madara had stolen my Hoshi no Tama and used it to control me. You were chosen for me to be sealed into so I wouldn't die. The jutsu your father used destroys the souls of those who use it and is used on. However, if fused with a new soul both souls will coexist together," Tsun explained. "What does this mean to me?" Naruto asked. Tsun looked Naruto square in his eyes. "I am going to train you to be a ninja, teach you the ways of arts and the world, and show you how to strong enough to do whatever it is you want to do in your life," Tsun said to Naruto with a warm smile. "But why?" Naruto asked suspiciously. "Because I promised your father that I would. A kitsune can never break a promise," Tsun said. "The only thing you need to do is pull the seal off this cage and you shall receive my teachings and further your life as a ninja," Tsun said. Naruto hesitated for only a second. He reached up and tore the seal off the cage. There was a bright light and then everything went black. Everyone was in the street having a good time. Today was the day they could let loose and have a good time without worrying about anything. The Hokage didn't accept any missions for the village on this day so even the ninja could relax or have fun. The Hokage was staring down at his village as they were having a good time. He poured himself another cup of sake and took a drink for his successor who had not been able to be there with him. Down in the streets, the last Uchiha was walking around, followed by a gaggle of fangirls led by a Haruno Sakura and Yamanaka Ino. Up on one of the roofs of a building lay a Nara Shikamaru, and sitting next to him was Akimichi Kuji. Hanging around near the village square was Inuzuka Kiba and Aburame Shino. And on the outskirts of town at the Hyuga compound, the Hyuga family was going through a formal tea ceremony like every year. And among all of them, they did not know why Naruto, who hung around them every once in a while, was not out with them playing pranks on unexpected victims, or they simply didn't care. Naruto shifted in his bed and began to open his eyes. "That was a weird dream I had," Naruto said aloud and turned to his side. He blinked a couple of times, letting his eyes focus, and was shocked to see a girl in his bed. He looked down and saw that she had her arm around him and she was completely naked. Before he knew it, Naruto was out of bed and up against the wall, eyes wide. Naruto looked at the girl carefully. She had light red hair that went a little past her shoulders, and was about the same height as Naruto. Naruto had no idea how the girl had gotten into his room or why she was in his bed. And he definitely had no idea why she was naked. Naruto didn't know what he should do with the girl in his bed. He thought it best to leave her be and went out of his room to do his morning rituals, all the while thinking of the girl in his bed. Naruto got out of his shower and went to stand in front of his mirror. He was shocked when he noticed the whisker-like marks on his cheeks were gone. After checking for quite some time to make sure he wasn't seeing things, he changed and left the bathroom. Naruto sat at his table thinking about his dream and the girl in his bed. Naruto had no idea what to think about either of the two things that were plaguing his mind, but he felt that they were connected. Naruto turned to his room to see a sleepy blue-eyed girl stare back at him. She was holding Naruto's blanket over herself. "Good morning, Naruto-kun," the girl said. Naruto was confused even more at how the girl knew him when he didn't know her. In a dark cave, 3 figures stood. All that could be seen of them was their shadows cast from the candles around the room. "What do we do?" one of the figures asked, her voice sweet and soft. The 2 figures looked at her, then at each other. "We get to them before the demon does," one of the figures said, his voice also soft, but firm. The larger figure nodded, his red eyes showing understanding. "It's only a matter of time before he finds out. I can't distract him from knowing about it," the large figure said. "Will he send you?" the girl asked. She had a hint of worry in her voice. "Most likely, but my partner will come also," the larger male said. The younger man nodded in agreement. "We will have to hurry then," the smaller male said. They all nodded and the larger male disappeared. The small male looked at the girl and turned to exit the cave. "Come, sister," the figure said, and they left the cave. "Do you have any clothes I can wear?" the girl asked Naruto. Naruto looked at her suspiciously. "Who are you?" Naruto asked. The girl smiled sweetly at Naruto. "You don't remember? My name is Tsun," the girl said as she sat down in one of chairs at the table. Naruto was surprised by the girl's statement. "But how? I thought it was just a dream," Naruto said, shock evident in his voice. "No, it was very real. When you tore off the seal, I was released from your body, and now here I am," Tsun said as she got up. She dropped the blanket to reveal her naked form to Naruto. Naruto blushed, but couldn't look away. She put her hands together, forming a seal, and then 9 tails formed from her lower back and her ears changed to those of a fox. Naruto gaped at the girl. In Naruto's opinion, the girl was the cutest girl he had ever seen. "Now, I know you being a guy like to look at me naked, but I feel embarrassed," the girl said with a devilish grin which caused Naruto to shake his head, removing bad thoughts. "Right," Naruto said as he headed into his room, followed by Tsun. He pulled out some shorts and a white t-shirt and left the room. Tsun came out shortly after, back in her human appearance, the clothes she wore quite big for her. Naruto thought she looked even cuter in his clothes. "I need my own clothes," Tsun started as she looked herself over. "Let's go shopping," Tsun said, thrilled by the thought. Naruto looked at her curiously and then to his door. "We can't. We're sealed into my apartment until tomorrow," Naruto said. Tsun looked at Naruto, then the door. She walked over to the door and brushed her hand against it. Then, to Naruto's surprise, she turned the knob and with a loud crack the door opened. "Not anymore," Tsun said as she started to walk out. "Make sure you bring money," she called out as she continued walking. Naruto quickly grabbed his frog wallet and chased after her. As they walked down the street, they saw everyone having a good time, but stopped when they saw Naruto. Tsun and Naruto were receiving weird looks from everyone as they walked through the streets. After walking for a while, they came across a clothing store and went in. I shouldn't be here. I'm not allowed to leave my house today, Naruto said as he looked back at the angry villagers. Don't worry about it, Tsun said as she looked through the clothes. She picked out a few things and went to the cashier. Naruto, I need money. Tsun called to him as she reached the counter. Naruto reached the counter and saw the glare from the cashier. I don't serve demons. The man spat at Naruto. Tsun looked curiously at the man. Why would demons buy clothes? Tsun asked the man. And why would you say that to us? We don't care about things like that. The man looked at Tsun and glared at her. Take your business somewhere else. The man said. Tsun looked at the man incredulously and grabbed his neck. The man was surprised by the girl's quickness, and when he grabbed her arm to release himself he found he couldn't escape her grip. We are leaving with these clothes. You can take the money or not, Tsun said to the man, her tone fierce. However, if you talk to me or him like that again, I will take your tongue also, Tsun said and released the man. He stepped back away from the girl, afraid of what might happen to him. Naruto was shocked by how Tsun's mood changed so quickly. Naruto, the money. The fierce tone was gone from her and was replaced by her original sweet tone. Naruto handed her his wallet and she pulled out enough money before handing it back to him. She sat the money on the counter and placed her items in a bag, and they headed out. As they were walking out, Naruto noticed that now the citizens had a face of fear and stepped away from them instead of glowering at them. Naruto noticed after they stepped out of the shop, Tsun started walking in the opposite direction of his house. Where are we going? Naruto asked. Tsun looked back at Naruto, then ahead of her. I'm hungry and I don't like ramen, Tsun said to Naruto. Naruto nearly fell down by Tsun's comment about ramen, but remembering how fierce she was with that shopkeeper, Naruto only obliged her request. They walked a little ways until Tsun at a restaurant and walked in with Naruto close behind. As they entered they received weird looks. Naruto looked around and noticed that the restaurant was filled with prestigious people. Can I have a table for two, please? Tsun asked. The host eyed the two and hesitated. He looked around the restaurant briefly before setting his eyes on the two again. I have a table available, but I should warn you that the meals here can be a little on the expensive side. The host said. Naruto noticed that the man didn't sound angry or hateful when he spoke. It's fine, we have plenty of money. We just didn't feel like getting all dressy because of the festival, Tsun said with a warm smile. Naruto looked at her incredulously. We don't have money, I have money. Naruto thought in his head. The host ushered them to a table, and when they took their seats he handed them a couple of menus. Thank you, can we start with just water while we look over the menu? Certainly. The host said and signaled for a waiter. The waiter brought them their water and headed off to assist the other guests. Naruto looked at the menu and was surprised to see all the prices. He wasn't worried about money since his food bill per month was roughly 9,000 yen and he received an allowance of 27,000 yen from the Hokage. So he was sitting pretty well with saving 18,000 every month for the last 2 years. He may not be rich because of it, but he could afford things like this every once in a while. Tsun had already picked out what she wanted and was waiting for Naruto to give her the go-ahead to order. Can I order? Tsun asked. Naruto looked through the menu one last time and nodded his head. He had no idea what any of the things on the menu were and was glad she would do it. She slightly raised her hand to get the waiter's attention. As soon as the waiter arrived she handed him their menus. Can we have 2 kaiseki ryori meals served with matcha? Tsun asked to the surprise of Naruto. She said what she wanted so easily without even looking at the menu. Very fine choice, young miss. I will bring it out as soon as it is ready. The waiter said and took their order to the chef. Naruto looked around curiously to see what kind of people were dining there. He looked to see a few artisans here and there. As he continued to look around he noticed 2 people he recognized. Hinata sat near the corner almost out of sight with an older man and a younger girl, most likely her father and sister. And in the opposite corner away from everyone sat the class prodigy Sasuke. Naruto knew that Sasuke inherited all the funds the Uchiha had accumulated and was the richest person in the village easily. And he knew that the Hyuga also were rich, but no single person was as rich as Sasuke. Why did you choose this place? Naruto asked curiously as he returned his gaze to Tsun. Tsun took a sip of water and looked around once and looked back to Naruto. 2 reasons really. One reason is that no one has given you any dirty stares or angered looks, Tsun said. Naruto had realized that, but he figured it was because no one saw him. The reason for that is either the people here are visiting this village and don't know you, or if they live in this village but they can't be disgraceful in public. And the second reason? Naruto asked. Tsun smiled sweetly at Naruto. Today we start your training. Tsun started. I chose this place to help you with your mannerisms. Also to get you away from ramen so you can enjoy fine cuisine. I understand since you've been living alone your entire life you have had to conserve money, but this is to help you understand life of power. Naruto was confused by Tsun's explanation. To put it simply, it will help you blend in with the upper class of people. These people know great deals of information low and normal class citizens can't know. By being able to act accordingly in these types of situations you can infiltrate their circle and gain their knowledge. How does that help me be a ninja? Naruto asked, still confused. Tsun put some thought into an explanation. Say you are recruited for a mission that you have to receive information from a daimyo or a high-ranking individual. You need to first be able to receive an audience with them and act accordingly to their etiquette. If you can't convince them that you are a part of their circle, they won't reveal any information, Tsun said, hoping Naruto understood. Surprisingly, Naruto understood and agreed with her. While we eat, I will tell you about various aspects etiquette. I will warn you now, if you want to be a strong ninja, you must know how to be a jack of all trades. My teachings will enforce the tradition of knowledge as power. So you're only going to teach me how to be smarter? Naruto asked, not liking that idea. He'd rather be trained to outfight his opponent. That and more. I will create a training schedule for you with emphasis in 3 areas: strength, skill, and intelligence, Tsun said. Naruto had no choice but to agree with her terms. He wanted to get stronger to prove to the village that he could be the best. As soon as the food arrived, Tsun started to instruct Naruto on how to eat and had watched how everyone else acted while eating. She started to teach Naruto about many different things. They sat in the restaurant for about an hour and a half before they paid and left. As soon as they got outside, they noticed a shocked Kyuubi and Shikamaru. Naruto? Kyuubi asked. They both noticed Naruto had lost his identifiable whisker marks on his cheeks, but what surprised them was that he just walked out of a high-class restaurant that didn't sell anything less than 16,000 yen dishes. Hey guys, what's up? Naruto asked, noticing Kyuubi and Shikamaru. The 2 boys were bewildered, and that sensation enhanced when they noticed a cute girl with Naruto. Naruto caught them looking at Tsun, so Naruto figured he would introduce them. Kyuubi, Shikamaru, this is my friend Tsun. She just got to the village today, Naruto said. Nice to meet you, Kyuubi said, offering his hand to the girl. Shikamaru muttered something under his breath as she took Kyuubi's hand and shook it. Just then they heard a racket coming from the alleyway next to the restaurant Naruto just came out of. If you hadn't yelled, I wouldn't have gotten caught, forehead girl. Everyone heard Ino yell. Shikamaru groaned by the appearance of his friend. And if you hadn't knocked me into that eel, I wouldn't have yelled, Ino pig, Sakura yelled as they came into view of the 4 standing in front of the restaurant. When the 2 girls noticed them, they were confused. What are you guys doing here? Ino asked. Ino and Sakura had looked the girl with them up and down and were a little jealous that she was more attractive than them. Shikamaru and I just came from Asuma's house after he and Shikamaru played a few games of shuji. And then we bumped into Naruto and Tsun, Kyuubi said. Just then Tsun was right in front of Shikamaru, her eyes glistening. You play shuji? Tsun asked Shikamaru. Shikamaru merely nodded as the girl surprised him with her randomness. I will remember that. When I have time, I would like to challenge you to a few games. But right now we have to go. It was nice meeting you too, Tsun said to Shikamaru and Kyuubi before she dragged Naruto back towards his apartment. Ino and Sakura just looked stunned as they were completely ignored. I didn't think Naruto knew any cute girls, Kyuubi said as he was munching on his chips. I didn't think Naruto could afford to eat at places like this, Shikamaru said, and regretted it as Sakura and Ino pounced on him for more information about Naruto being inside the same restaurant as their Sasuke-kun. Tsun and Naruto were walking down the street when something caught Tsun's eye. Naruto, how much money do you have? Tsun asked randomly. Naruto looked inside his wallet and counted the contents. I have 1,000 yen with me, why? Naruto asked before he was dragged off towards a store. Give me the money and you pick out one of those tickets, Tsun said. Naruto obliged and grabbed one of the lottery tickets as instructed. Tsun paid for Naruto's ticket as well as one for herself. She then ushered Naruto to the Hokage Tower. What are we doing now? Naruto asked curiously. Tsun smiled back at him and stopped when they reached the tower. We are going to collect our winnings for these tickets, Tsun said as she held her ticket. Naruto was confused and his eyes told her to specify. Well, of what I've noticed you have the devil's luck. And I can never lose when it comes to gambling, so the two of us have winning tickets, she said as she started to scratch her ticket, revealing the grand prize combination. Naruto followed suit, getting the second place combination. The prizes combined equaled 150 million yen. Naruto looked shocked at Tsun, who only smiled gleefully. Now wait here and hold my bag, Tsun said as she took the 2 tickets into the tower. Naruto waited 20 minutes, occupying himself with watching people walk by and glare at him. Then Tsun came out holding a piece of paper and some keys. Naruto looked curiously at Tsun as she smiled gleefully. In his eyes she seemed more childish than anything else. He figured the way she acted was so no one would think she is the demon that nearly destroyed Konoha. Let's go, Tsun said as she walked past Naruto. Naruto noticed that once again they were walking in a different direction than his apartment. They walked for a little while till they were in the area with the clan compounds. What are we doing here? Naruto asked, looking around the estates. He noticed they were walking towards a large building surrounded by forest. We are going to our new home, Tsun said as she stopped in front of the building. Naruto gaped at the 2-story building. Naruto gaped at the compound that Tsun said was theirs. He had never thought that he would be invited to a place like this, let alone live in one. Tsun started walking towards the house with Naruto right on her heels. So this is what you did with the money? Naruto asked, figuring he knew the answer. Tsun nodded as they entered the large house. Naruto was astounded when he walked through the doors. The room they entered was the size of his entire apartment, and it led to many other rooms. Naruto looked over at Tsun to find that she was gone. He looked around briefly, but figured she ran off to somewhere. He started to explore his new home. After exploring the whole house, Naruto had found out there was 15 bedrooms, an expansive kitchen, an elegant eating area, a large garden area, a huge training room, a large empty library, and a large area outside that looked like it can be used for training as well. Naruto figured that the house was not the only thing within the purchase, but some land as well. Tsun returned to the house carrying a scroll as Naruto was looking at the training room. Tsun went up to one of the rooms and did a seal, and the room was filled with all of Naruto's things from his apartment. She then walked around the house for a little, looking at all the rooms. When she reached the library, she took out another scroll and released the seal. The shelves were then filled completely with all kinds of books. After she was satisfied that she had been everywhere in the house, she went to find Naruto. She was surprised to see that Naruto was in the barren garden area. She then walked up to stand next to him. We can use this to grow our own food, she said offhandedly. Naruto looked at her once and looked at the expansive, yet empty garden. That sounds good, but it would be nice to liven this place up with colorful flowers or something, Naruto said as he walked back into the house. Naruto went into the kitchen area and took a seat with Tsun following behind him. So what do we do now? Naruto asked, looking straight at Tsun. Tsun looked thoughtful for a second. I guess we can train. You have an important test coming up in a couple days, right? Tsun said. Naruto nodded towards her question, remembering the Jinan exam. Well, the reason you've kept failing is you lack chakra control, so we'll concentrate on that and work on other tidbits. Naruto looked at her curiously. What about jutsu? Naruto asked, hoping she would say they can work on that also. How about I teach you some jutsu after you pass your graduation test, Tsun said. Naruto looked downhearted. The better you are at control, the stronger the jutsu will be. That's why I suggest we work on control then work on jutsu. Naruto couldn't help it. He was lousy on control and now he had to concentrate on that before he could be taught any new jutsu. Now without further ado, I bring you chapter 2 of Rise of a Legend. It had been 5 days since Naruto removed the Kyuubi seal, and for some reason he kept waking up beside her. There were 15 bedrooms in their house, yet she insisted on sleeping in his room on his bed. He got up and did his normal morning routine. Soon had him waking up 2 hours earlier than he would normally wake up, and he would spend that time doing various things to help improve. He would take a shower and get dressed, and after he was done is when Tsun would wake up and do the same. Then they ate and then they trained. Tsun had put a fountain in the garden area, and that is where they started their training. They would sit on top of the fountain for as long as Naruto could and discuss academics. It took Naruto 2 days to fully grasp the concept of staying on top of the water, but now he could do it easily. After that they would run laps around the training area. Tsun had Naruto wear weights to increase his stamina and speed. It was hard on him, but he understood why he was doing it. After their training, Naruto would leave for the academy and do his normal pre-Jinan training there. Today was different, however. Today was the day he would take his exam to be a full-fledged ninja. Tsun had ensured that Naruto could perform the Bunshin no Jutsu, as that has been the final exam the last couple of times and the technique Naruto had failed at. When Naruto got to the academy, he took a seat in the back as he had started to do in the last couple of days. He did this so he could read the book Tsun had forced him to read. Since he sat in the back, Shikamaru would sit next to him and sleep, and Kyuubi on the other side of him and eat. When the exam begun, Iruka called everyone up one by one to take the exam. When Naruto's turn came, he went to the other room and was told to perform the Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto was satisfied by this and performed it flawlessly. Iruka and Mizuki were surprised that he had done it and passed him. They awarded him his headband and he went back to the classroom. Before he entered the classroom, he tied his headband to his forehead. As he walked in, he could see the shock on everyone's face. Tsun knew Naruto was going to pass the exam and become a Genin, so she went out into town to gather materials to start teaching Naruto jutsu. A few things she needed were some scrolls and ink. Then she came to a pack of specially prepared paper and picked it out. After she had gotten everything she needed, she paid and took everything to their home. When she was sure it was time for the academy to end, she went to meet up with Naruto. Naruto walked out of the academy and saw all the happy parents congratulate their children, and Naruto felt that pang of remorse that he always felt when he realized he was alone. He looked around and saw Tsun looking at him enthusiastically. He quickly ran to her, beaming, ensuring she noticed his forehead protector. "Congratulations, Naruto-kun," Tsun said elegantly. "Now let's go home and eat, and then I shall start teaching you the jutsu I promised," she said, and giggled, seeing the look of euphoria on his face. They quickly made way to their home, and to Naruto's surprise there was food ready for them as they entered. Naruto was surprised, but not too much. After they ate, Tsun took Naruto to their garden area. "Okay, I have a few things to teach you today." Tsun catching Naruto's excitement. "Okay, now I know thousands of ancient jutsu that no one in this village can teach you." "What? How?" Naruto asked incredulously. "I've lived for thousands of years. I'm the oldest of all foxes, with the exception of the lady who gave birth to all kitsune," Tsun said, catching Naruto's awe. "Now first I want to teach you what you are best suited for, so I need to find out your affinity. So I want you to take this paper and channel chakra through it," she said, handing Naruto a piece of paper. What do you mean?" Naruto asked, staring at the piece of paper. "Every being is geared to a specific element from birth. I myself, when I entered creation, was geared towards fire and lightning. However, like most ninja, I trained myself to know more. My chakra affinity is that of every element," she said, grabbing a sheet of the paper and put her chakra through it. At first the paper caught fire, but then suddenly it was drenched in water, then it crumpled up and then cut in half and finally disintegrated. "This is what thousands of years has awarded me, though it is not limited to just this." "So I can do at least one of the things you did to the paper?" Naruto asked, which received a nod in return. "Yosh, let's do it," Naruto said, and concentrated chakra through the paper. After a few seconds the paper split in half. "So what does that mean?" "Your affinity is wind. It's useful for massive damage in low to high range areas, the best type for assassinations and combat, but lacks in support since most wind type jutsu are devastating to foes and allies." Tsun, which earned a slow nod. "Now for the jutsu I promised before the exam. I'm going to give you 2 jutsu immediately, but that is all today unless you can handle receiving both." "What do you mean?" Naruto asked. Tsun thought how to explain, thankfully having Naruto read the book about jutsu levels and effects on the user. "Well, for one of them it is a B-rank ninjutsu called Kage Bunshin, and the other would most likely be considered a double S rank due to the fact that no human has ever been gained the ability," Tsun said, which startled Naruto. "Now the reason these 2 techniques will be first is because they will be used for your training, and the double S rank should never be used outside of training," she said sternly. "But why, if it is so powerful, shouldn't I be able to use it in battle?" Naruto said, almost whining. "The technique was originally called the Tenshugen, however I cannot teach this as I am unable to use it, but I have created an alternative called the Akigen," Tsun said proudly, which caused Naruto to be surprised by the name. "Every god has the Tenshugen, but the only beings I or you should ever care about are Inori-sama, which is our deity, the one that shelters us and falls on us to give his tasks to. The other is the lady, Kitsenheim-sama. She is our mother and carries with her the Tenshugen. As for the Akigen, I am the only being that wields it, as it is a near replica of the Tenshugen. This is one of the reasons I have been considered a demon even within my clan," Tsun said, not liking to admit that she was cast out from her family. "That doesn't explain why I can't use it in battle," Naruto said, saddened by how Tsun was an outcast because of a stupid thing. "I was getting to that," Tsun said mentally, thanking Naruto for getting off the family conversation. Well, gods have infinite power, because of this they always have their Tenshogun activated. It uses a tremendous amount of chakra. My Akugin is also the same way, it uses tons of chakra as well. I can hold the Akugin for 30 full days but then I'm completely worn out, she said, and her eyes changed from the blue she adapted from Naruto to red and then to gold with no pupil, but a thin ring of black formed inside her eye. Naruto was amazed. Her eyes seemed magical and he felt like he no longer could lie to her. Her eyes shifted back to red and then blue and she let out a breath. From what I saw, you can hold the eyes for about an hour. Naruto was surprised that he could hold a technique fit for a god for longer than seconds. However, when you finish that hour you'll be completely drained of chakra. Your body is designed to be able to hold half as much chakra than myself, so after you are fully trained and max out your chakra capacities you'll be to hold it for 15 days. Naruto was shocked about what she said. How do you know all this? Naruto utterly confused. That is only two of the features of these eyes: to see how much chakra someone has max at their current state, and to be able to tell how far their body can max it out. It'll also tell you how much they have left. You'll also be able to see through any genjutsu, read any taijutsu and ninjutsu to the point of copying it like the Sharingan. You'll be able to tell if someone is actually dead or they are faking it, and you'll be able to see through anything. Your vision will increase to that of up to 100 miles, and you'll be able to see in dark. Also, back on chakra, you'll be able to tell what nature any person is just by looking at them. It has uses, but these are the main ones. She finished her explanation and Naruto was so ecstatic. So how do I learn it? Naruto asked, no longer able to hold it any longer. It can't be learned, I have to give it to you and it is going to hurt more than anything you've felt before. It takes roughly 1 hour and the pain will never let up. You must force yourself to stay conscious, otherwise we have to start over, she said, causing Naruto to gulp. I have seals up so no noise escapes the house, no one will be able to enter and no one can see in. I also have a seal ready for you to stand on to make it easier to stay conscious. Do you understand? She asked. Naruto nodded slowly. Then follow me. They walked into the library and Naruto saw the seal on the floor and stood on top of it. Tsun stood in front of him, activated her Akugin and holding her hand up in front of his face. You ready? She asked seriously. Naruto hesitated, but slowly nodded. It took less than a second and Naruto's scream ran through the whole house. Pain shot through his entire body, but the most concentrated was on his brain and eyes. Naruto's scream did not stop for that entire hour. Even as tears ran down his face, he did not fall, nor did Tsun move. After it was done, Tsun stepped back and Naruto fell to his knees before looking up. Tsun saw his eyes, an exact replica of hers, and she was proud that he had done it without collapsing. Naruto saw nothing but black as he tried to see. After a few minutes colors started coming forth, but everything seemed more fluid, more beautiful, more rich and vibrant. As he looked at Tsun, he could see all kinds of things floating around her, and she was in her fox form. Why don't you look like you did when we started? Naruto asked, gasping for air with each word. I am. What you are seeing is my true form. It is a sign that the procedure worked, she said, smiling. Naruto too smiled, but it didn't last as he was losing consciousness. Tsun quickly activated the cage Bunshine before Naruto collapsed. The next morning, Naruto woke up with a headache. He looked to his side, not seeing Tsun, which worried him. He got up slowly, his headache ebbing, and he remembered the previous day. And he remembered Tsun performing a jutsu before he collapsed. He saw how much chakra she poured into it and the hand sign, as well as where to channel the chakra to recreate the jutsu. He knew the jutsu, his eyes widening at that thought. He got up quickly and ran to find Tsun in the kitchen preparing breakfast. Oh, so you're up? How about it, you remember the jutsu? Tsun asked, not turning around. Yeah, as soon as I woke up I knew exactly how to do it, Naruto said in surprise. Of course you did. The Akugin is the best thing you'll have for training, and when your chakra increases to the point that you can hold it for an entire day, it will be one of your most powerful tools, Tsun said with a smile, producing 2 plates of food and a smile. With this you'll know every jutsu I have within a year. By that time you should be able to hold it for a few days, she said, smile never leaving her face as she started eating. Anu, how are we going to do training from now on? Naruto asked, starting to eat as well. Well, we'll work around your team meetings and things like that. But we'll always start with strength and endurance, as well as working on increasing your chakra capacity. By doing this you'll gain strength, speed, endurance, and chakra, but you'll learn less jutsu. She noticed Naruto's look of disappointment. Trust me, this is the most balanced way for you to increase your abilities, plus it will be better in the long run, so that way you aren't just a powerhouse nor are you a jutsu maniac. This way you will make the perfect ninja, well balanced and greatly powerful. As for what I teach, it depends. Until we know what your team is up to, I won't know how to train you, she said, which alarmed Naruto. He looked at the clock and choked down his food. I'm going to be late, he yelled as he ran out of the house. Soon cleared the table and went out on an information gathering mission. Naruto was pissed off. His mood went sour when he found out Sasuke was on his team, only to cheer up a little when he found out Sakura was also. What he was mostly pissed off about was his sensei was late. Even though Naruto was pissed off, he still sat still and read from the book Tsun told him to read, and waited. Tsun traveled through the village, everyone stopping to gawk at her. Naruto had thought that she was cute, but the truth of the matter was that she was beyond hot. The clothes she wore were not helping change that fact either. She was wearing knee-high black boots, a short black miniskirt, and her top was definitely accenting her developing assets. It was a dark red shirt that showed off her toned waist, and it was cut into a v-neck, allowing a lot of skin to show, nothing too distasteful, but it still showed off more than most girls allowed. She had been to a bunch of places finding the information she needed and copied it as to help with Naruto's training. She only had 2 more places to go. One was to meet someone, the other was to a place that Tsun was afraid to go to. Her first stop was a bar in order to find the person in the village to get some items from. As she entered, she was slightly disgusted by the way humans acted. Everyone in the establishment was drunk or close to it. She found her target sitting at the bar drinking sake with dengo hanging from her mouth. She walked over casually and sat next to her as quietly and stealthily as possible. It took a few minutes for the jonin to realize she was there, which shocked her. I didn't hear her nor sense her approaching. Who the hell is this? The jonin thought, scowling at the younger girl. Mitarashi Anko, correct? Tsun said to the woman without looking at her. Anko cursed, expecting an attack, and judging by the way this girl snuck up on her, she was sure it would be a beautiful assassination that no one would notice until the girl was long gone. Yeah, that's right, but I don't think I've had the privilege to catch your name, Anko said, knowing that someone would catch the conversation and catch the name. Even if it was an alias, Konoha Shinobi would be able to track this girl down. My name is unimportant, and even with it no one in this village would be able to track me down with it, Tsun said, knowing what Anko was thinking the moment her presence was known. Is that so? This bar isn't that full someone would notice an attack and be able to describe you. I'm the best in the field of assassination, and even I wouldn't be able to get out of here without being noticed, Anko said earnestly, her sake and dengo forgotten. She just needed to keep her busy long enough for Ibiki to arrive. If stalling for Morino-san to arrive is your only option, then sadly if I were to assassinate you I would not get caught, Tsun said, catching Anko off guard, and went to continue before she was interrupted. Were to assassinate me? So you just enjoy sneaking into a ninja village to strike conversation with an S-rank ninja from every bingo book? Anko said, disgusted, thinking this girl was trying to put her at ease for a fatal and inattentive strike. Who said I snuck into this village? I'm a resident of Konoha, and if you want proof, my name is listed in the town attendance logs. Though you may need the Hokage's permission to view my record, Tsun said, catching Anko off guard again. Very well, your name and business. If I find you telling the truth and your business is something I accept, then okay. Otherwise, if you're lying, I'll hunt you down and kill you no matter how good you are at sneaking around, Anko said, malice dripping from her words. Anko's hands were tied. If her name was listed in the attendance logs, then she would be attacking a fellow Konoha resident without cause. What was worse is if the Hokage had to give permission to view her log, then it would be the most atrocious offense, with slow agonizing death at the hands of Ibiki for punishment. My business first, then. I require poison. Not just any poison, every poison. You are the only person in the village to accomplish this task. The secrecy of this task is extremely vital. As such, I will pay you for each individual poison at cost with a service fee of 1 million yen. And if you complete the task by week's end, I'll double the payment of poison. I'll pay up front for poison cost. After the task is done, I'll pay the rest, Tsun said. Anko was extremely surprised. The amount this girl was about to pay was expansive. Anko waited a second to see if she was going to say anything else, only to realize she was waiting for a price. Anko mentally calculated the amount for each poison and how to go about getting it and what poison she needed. If this girl was serious about every poison, then she would have to calculate the basics in as well. It will be about 47 million to receive all the poison. I also still need your name, Anko said indignantly. Tsun produced a scroll seemingly from nowhere and handed it to Anko. This scroll holds 50 million just in case. That is the price at cost for the poisons. If you get me them by weeks, another 50 million will be available plus the 1 million service fee, otherwise it will just be the service fee waiting. As for my name, it is Namikaze Tsun. Anko's eyes grew wide as she saw a yellow flash from beside her, and her head shot around only to find the stool empty. Anko cursed and ran out of the bar after paying her tab. Anko glanced around once before cursing and rushing to the Hokage's tower. She passed Ibiki and as soon as he saw her face fell into pace with her side by side rushing to the tower. What's going on? Did something happen? Ibiki asked, trying to get information on what Anko was scared of. Oh yes, once Ibiki saw Anko's face he could tell she was scared. Please tell me it was a lie, God let it be a lie. Anko pounded into her head as she jumped through the open window of the Hokage tower with Ibiki in tow. As she arrived in the Hokage's office she saw Asuma, Kakashi, and Kurenai. They all looked at her curiously as she rushed past them and opened the door to the office and closed it quickly and started doing seals. Ibiki, seeing this, immediately closed all the windows and blinds, Kakashi following suit and doing seals of his own. After both had done their seals the room was soundproof and not even a Hyuga could see into the room. What has happened to cause this much secrecy, Anko? Asuma asked as he took a guard position to the right of the Hokage in case of assassination. I need you to open the Yondame's personnel file, Anko said urgently as she looked out the blinds carefully. Anko, that folder is so restricted it takes 3 blood samples to open. You can't just demand that file be open, Kurenai said, annoyed by the snake witch. Kurenai never did like the woman. To Kurenai's disbelief the Hokage raised his hand to silence her and nodded to Kakashi. Kakashi walked over to the bookshelf applying chakra. The bookshelf moved away showing a large safe which he cut his hand and touched the metal opening the safe. He walked in, produced one folder and put it in front of the Hokage. Kurenai-san and Asuma-kun, I'm sorry, but when this file is open you cannot be in here. I ask that you leave and I shall remind you that even you being family or a loved one of family will not protect you if you try and break the barrier which is up around this office. The Hokage said as seriously as he could to get his point across. The 2 jonin bowed and walked out. Kakashi renewed both barriers and creating 10 more of each to further conceal the room. Now Anko, I will open this folder, however it will only happen after you give a reason it needs to be open. I understand, Hokage-sama, Anko said, causing everyone to reel back. Anko was never formal with anyone, not even the Hokage. I was waiting for Ibiki at one of our usual bars when a girl showed up. She snuck up on me without me even noticing. I had thought that it was an assassination at first, but instead she asked for my service in acquiring specific items. I did not trust her and asked for her name before I would even consider it. After she was done with her proposition she told me her name was Namikaze-tsune. At this everyone was shocked, even the Hokage. At first I thought it was a ploy, but after she said it I saw a yellow flash out of the corner of my eye and she was gone. The Hokage considered what Anko said. This might just be speculation, however there are things that Anko said that couldn't have been from anyone else, but the Yondame. I understand. The evidence you have supplied does force the opening of this folder, however there is something inside this folder that is not only private and secret, but if announced will result in death for whoever says it and whoever hears it. In this situation normally none of you would be allowed in this room when it is open, however I will need all 3 of you here, therefore I will trust you to this secret and expect you to uphold the village's safety and not recite anything that is read from this folder. After he heard their approval he cut his thumb and placed it on the seal of the folder. He then motioned for Ibiki as lead Onbu. Ibiki did the same and the Hokage motioned for Kakashi. Kakashi as well placed his blood on the seal, not sure why his blood would react to it, but it did. As the Yondaime student you are one of the people who could be the 3rd blood sample, otherwise it would be the head of medicine, Tsunade, or Jiraiya. The Hokage opened the folder. He had only opened it once in his entire life. He glanced at the picture of his successor idly, feeling 6 eyes on the document as well. He eyed down to the reason why the folder had only been opened twice. Name, Namikaze Minato. Status, Yondaime Hokage, deceased. Marital status, married, Uzumaki Kushina. The Sandaime felt the stillness of everyone in the room read over his wife's name, knowing they knew. Children, Uzumaki Naruto, Namikaze-tsune. The Sandaime reread to be sure he was not seeing things. Sure it was no misreading, he looked up at the shocked Jonin. As you can see, Naruto-kun is the Yondaime's son and this is the information that should never be released. And now this Tsune too is related to him, which causes a new problem. The Hokage said, rubbing his temples as he lifted up the first page to the next and heard Anko gasp. He looked up to see an uncharacteristic face. He looked down at the page to see Kushina. That's her, she was just younger, Anko said, reviewing the picture and the girl she saw. Same hair color, same facial features, it was just like looking back in time. The Sandaime looked at her in a way that said, are you sure? I'm positive they look too close to call it coincidence, and I'm perfectly sure it wasn't genjutsu. Even with taking into account it could be genjutsu, this file is impossible to get to. I didn't even know of this name, which means that someone had come into this folder after I changed his status and added Naruto. Which means that most likely Tsunade and Jiraiya came in and added her name after she was delivered, or something to that extent. No outside ninja could have gained this knowledge, or any internal ninja for that fact. The truth of the matter is that you met the Yondaime's only daughter today, which means we need to find her and ensure she knows the gravity of the situation. The Hokage said, eyeing Anko. I'll get the items she asked of me. She never told me where to meet her or when, but considering she knows at least one of the Yondaime's moves, it isn't unthinkable that she would know when I have accomplished my task, Anko said, already heading towards the door. She halted, feeling the Hokage had something to say. We need Jiraiya and Tsunade back immediately. If you come across them and acquiring the items, send them back, her saying only that it concerns the Yondaime. The Sandaime said, which earned a nod, and Anko was gone. Ibiki, bring the 5 most trusted Anbu and the top 5 hunter nin. Kakashi, bring me Inuzuka Tsume, Aburame Shibi, and knowing my student the most attractive ninja we have within the village. The Hokage said, earning an affirmative, and he was then alone. What's going to happen next? Sun looked at the Hokage tower, seeing the 3 ninja jump out and speed off in different directions. She smiled to herself, knowing she caused a little bit of fun things to happen. And then her smile disappeared and was replaced with a frown, as she knew her next objective would not be as fun, but first thing was to go train Naruto for a while beforehand. Naruto had gotten home expecting to jump right into training since his new teacher took up so much time, but no matter where he looked inside the house, he couldn't find Sun anywhere. He resigned himself to just sit in the library to finish reading the book Sun had given him. Just on cue, as Naruto finished the book, Sun came into the library. Naruto glanced at her and then put the book away on the bookshelf. Are you ready to train? Sun asked and gained a nod. Okay, just for today we are skipping everything and going straight into jutsu training. However, you need to eat first and then we'll get right into it, okay? Alright, but I don't know how we are going to do this, Naruto said in a sort of pout. Don't worry, I'll explain it while we eat, food's already ready. With that they walked downstairs and sat to eat, and Naruto looked expectantly. Okay, so for today I'm going to teach you a taijutsu style I created to work in my human form that I call Kitsuken. I will also teach you Suiken, Juken, Tai Chi, Judo, Aikido, and Capoeira, and then a Kenjutsu style called Kitsune no Ono Turai, along with Hiten Mitsurugi, Iaido, and Eskrima. And that will take up today. If not, then I'll teach you jutsu till you pass out, Sun said, almost laughing at Naruto's scared face. You expect me to learn 7 taijutsu forms and 4 kenjutsu forms in one day? Naruto questioned intently. Why would I need all that? Well, yes, I want you to learn all that today. You'll utilize the Akigen to do it, otherwise it would be impossible, Sun said, earning her a sheepish O in return. And the reason so many different types are, for one, so you can pick what you want to use, and so you understand how the style works so you can counter it. There are many more and I'll teach you them, but that's all for today. I'll most likely teach the rest throughout this week. Oh, cool then, though I'll most likely pick your Kitsuken since that sounds like the best so far, Naruto said. You know just how to treat a girl, Sun said seductively with a blush on her face, having Naruto sputtering, making her laugh in return. After they finished eating they went to the training area and Naruto took a seat. You know, I wanted to ask you, when I used the Akigen last time there were weird symbols everywhere and I was wondering what they were. Naruto asked, scratching his cheek. It's my original language. That's the next thing you'll learn for knowledge. And you'll spend all day tomorrow learning it, Sun said. But I have to do some sort of test tomorrow with my team. I won't be able to, Naruto said sadly. Don't worry about it, that's why I taught you Kage Bunshine. From now on every morning you'll create a bunch and have them read through books while the real you will be with your team. This is what we will use to increase your chakra capacity as well as other stuff, but don't worry about it, I'll explain everything in the morning, Sun said, creating a Kage Bunshine. Now activate the Akigen, focus completely on me. If you lose your focus you won't be able to see me, as I will be moving as fast as I can, and I assure you it is faster than any human I can see. Then how am I going to see you? Naruto asked, completely confused. When you focus on something and it starts moving at higher speeds it will slow down for you. Time won't change, but you think it will because everything will be moving in super slow motion, Sun said, getting ready to start. As soon as you activate your Akigen and say okay I'm going, she said, earning a nod in return. Naruto activated the Akigen as he had seen Sun doing it the night prior. After he was sure he was completely focused on her he said the magic word. Okay. And she started. Naruto was surprised she was moving so slow and Naruto could see what muscles were tensing and which were retracting. As he was watching, he realized that with each thing she did he magically knew it. After an hour of this, Naruto knew everything about each style Tsun had taught him and promptly fell asleep. Now Tsun had the task of finishing her day's work, and after she put Naruto in his bed and left to the only Inari shrine in Fire Country. It didn't take her long to reach the shrine. When she reached it, nobody was around except an older man leaning on a cane and a beautiful young white-haired woman standing next to him. Instinctively Tsun felt their auras and knelt down behind them and bowed her head. "You have chosen an interesting path, young one," the old man said, not looking at her. "The rest of your family has asked us to turn your status to Nagatsune because of your actions," the woman said, also not turning around. Tsun knew not to voice her words until they allowed it. "We feel that after you had recreated our noble Tenshugen, many of our family became jealous and labeled you as nothing more than evil," the old man said, finally turning towards Tsun along with the woman. "We do not view it that way. We see it as you have created your own technique to increase your own self and recognize that by giving you your ninth tail. Our concerns lie with the most recent of events. You allowed yourself to be controlled by a mortal and a cursed Uchiha, no less," the woman said disdainfully. "Then you allowed yourself to be imprisoned for 12 years by a mortal. And now you stay with the mortal you were imprisoned within. Now we would like to hear your defense on this matter before we pass judgment." The woman offered a gentle face, though Tsun knew it was only because she was her daughter, and if she was any other being the woman would not allow a defense. "As you said, I did create the eyes to become stronger, but in no way did I intend for them to allow me to reach you. They were just something I wanted to have," Tsun said kindly. The old man nodded, accepting her answer. "As for that accursed Uchiha, he asked for my help to destroy Konoha when I refused to use the Sharingan before I could activate my Akigen. With the time he gained from his attack, he stole my Hoshi no Tama and corrupted it, gaining control over me. I have no other excuse for this. The leader of Konoha offered his help of ridding the control, however the only way to do so would be for me to be trapped. I never wanted to attack the village and it was killing me to do it, so I agreed. As he promised, it would only be for 12 years. He made me promise to train his son in his stead, and that is why I am with the mortal now," Tsun said, awaiting their judgment. The old man looked at the woman next to him before turning towards the shrine, leaving the matter up to the woman. "I condone your actions regarding both being sealed and staying with the mortal. And sadly I do not think you could have done anything about the Uchiha. Therefore my stand is you will still remain in selection for the Myobu as soon as you feel ready to return to us," the woman said, filling Tsun with hope and joy. "Now you wish to ask something of us?" "The boy I'm training is my disciple, but in order to fully train him I wish to be allowed the family rights," Tsun said, catching the woman's shock. "I know no mortal has ever been allowed such an opportunity, but my eyes tell me that he has the ability to join the Kitsune. He already follows some of our principles and is willing to get stronger both physically and mentally. Mostly, however, he is like me without caring family around him. I know that I am an outcast of my family, but I at least have a mother and I wish him to know that as well," Tsun said. The woman looked down. She would never admit it openly, but Tsun was always her favorite. This was not something that she could permit, for she didn't have the authority, which means it fell to the old man to allow or deny. "I will allow it," the old man said, turning, surprising both females. "However, this will cost me favor amongst all the other gods. If you do this, he must be known throughout my domain within 3 years of the rites. If he is not, the punishment is you will no longer be allowed in mine or Kitzenheim's graces and be turned mortal, as well as be stripped of all your power," silencing the woman before allowing her to speak. "He will be known, I promise. You will not regret this, Inari-sama," Tsun said, determination in her eyes. Inari produced a scroll from nowhere the size of Tsun and tossed it to her feet, and produced another scroll half the size. "This is my honor I'm trusting you with, do not fail me," Inari said, tossing the other scroll to her feet and disappearing. The woman was shocked. Never has any god allowed a mortal to be allowed into his court. Inari was trusting Tsun with more than his honor but his rank as god as well. "It appears you are not just my favorite, but his as well. I trust you not to fail, and this should help as well," the woman said, producing a scroll as well, handing it to Tsun, which she graciously took. "Thank you, Kitzenheim-sama, I will not fail your trust," Tsun said, allowing a tear to fall. Kitzenheim bowed and vanished as well. Tsun grabbed the 3 scrolls and dashed to Konoha. She would not allow her promise to be broken, and she knew Naruto would not let her down.